Imagine the 1920s in America, the Roaring Twenties. It was an age of wild optimism. Cars were rolling off assembly lines, radios were crackling in every living room, and it felt like everyone was getting rich. The stock market, especially the New York Stock Exchange, wasn't just a place for financiers. It became a national obsession. It seemed like a guaranteed path to wealth. Your neighbor, your barber, your grocer, everyone was talking about stocks. The belief was simple: buy stocks, and you'll be rich tomorrow. And for a while, it worked. The market just kept going up. People were so confident that they started investing money they didn't even have. They took out massive loans and bought stocks on margin, basically borrowing against the value of the shares themselves. It was the first time in history that everyday people were swept up in a massive speculative bubble. Banks and brokers were happy to hand out credit because, hey, the party was never going to end, right? Few people bothered to look at the actual health of the companies they were investing in. The numbers just kept climbing. But beneath the surface of this glittering party, the real economy was starting to stumble. Farmers were facing a quiet crisis, struggling with debt and falling prices. Factories were producing more goods than people could buy, and warehouses started filling up with unsold products. Sales were slowing down. The warning signs were there, blinking in red, but the collective euphoria was so powerful that almost no one paid attention. The music was too loud to hear the distant thunder. Then came October 24th, 1929. History would remember it as Black Thursday. On that day, the music stopped. The boundless confidence that had propped up the market for years suddenly evaporated. In a wave of pure panic, investors started selling everything they owned. Millions of shares were dumped onto the market in minutes, causing prices to plummet. A few powerful bankers tried to step in, buying up huge blocks of stock to restore confidence. But it was like trying to stop a tidal wave with a bucket. Fear was spreading faster than any rescue effort could manage. The weekend offered a brief pause, but the worst was yet to come. The following week brought Black Monday and then Black Tuesday, October 28th and 29th. The market went into a complete freefall. There were no buyers, only sellers desperate to get out at any price. Fortunes that had taken a lifetime to build were wiped out in a matter of hours. People who had considered themselves wealthy one day woke up the next completely ruined. The collapse of the stock market was just the beginning. It triggered a domino effect that brought the entire American economy to its knees. Banks, which had loaned out so much money for speculation, failed one after another. Businesses went bankrupt, laying off millions of workers. People lost their jobs, their savings, and their homes. The vibrant optimism of the 1920s dissolved into the cold despair of the 1930s. Soup kitchens and bread lines became common sights in every city, as unemployment soared to levels never seen before. This was the start of the Great Depression. The shockwave didn't stop at America's shores. It raced across the Atlantic and sent the global economy into a tailspin. Europe, still fragile from the devastation of World War I, plunged into a deep recession. In Germany, the economic crisis piled onto existing social and political turmoil, creating a fertile ground for extremist movements that would tragically reshape the course of the 20th century. In the face of this unprecedented disaster, the United States was forced to reinvent itself. New rules were created to protect investors and stabilize the banking system. Institutions we still rely on today, like the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, and the FDIC, were born from the ashes of this crisis. President Franklin D. Roosevelt launched his famous New Deal, a massive program of public works projects, financial reforms, and social safety nets designed to get the economy back on its feet, and just as importantly, restore hope to the American people. The crash of 1929 left us with a powerful and timeless lesson. Unchecked speculation and a lack of regulation can turn dreams of wealth into a nightmare of ruin almost overnight. Every financial bubble and crisis we've seen since, in some way, carries the echo of that fateful October that changed the world forever. It's a reminder that what goes up can come down, and that real value is rarely built on pure hype. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story insightful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. See you in the next video.